Hey, talk about Hassell that you guys called up, and we'll get to Dylan Cruz here in a second. But talk about Hassell, who you called up when Cruz went to the IL, and in that 4-game stretch when you scored 38 runs, he went 820. I mean, he was just a heater in that 4-game stretch. He's been
gets
really
to stick around, right?
Yeah, talk about Hassell, and then is he going to stay when Cruz is back?
Well, he's a great player. I mean, he was an important part of the Soto trade, and we really coveted him. We like him a lot, and we think he's a 5-tool kind of player. He's a good defender. He runs really well. He throws well. He's got bat-to-ball skills. He's going to come into his power. He's shown it at the AAA level, right before we brought him up. So, he's a good player. He really played defense in center field on the bases, and he's a good – this guy was just – he was – if you believe the top thing, he was hit by all the national magazines as one of the best prospects. And the problem with him is he got hurt 2 years in a row. And the injury that he sustained are very, very difficult injuries to play baseball with. When he had the hamate surgery, which is the hook on the let's call it by the wrist or the thumb area where he had to get it removed. And then he torched in the thumb and jammed the thumb. He's had these hand and wrist injuries. It kind of set him back almost a year and a half, 2 years for his progression. So this guy is a really good player. He's going to be a big part of our future, and we're what we're doing. When all these outfielders come back, we're going to figure it out because it usually figures itself out. But if our greatest worry is we have great players that we don't have enough for them, I can live with that.
Right.
So you want to talk about Dylan and his recovery? His last game, I believe, was May 20th.
Yeah, that's the oblique thing is that's a painstaking, difficult to get through. It's typically 4 to 6 weeks, so we don't get anything out of the ordinary with Dylan's injury. It was on a swing. It was it was an oblique, and we kind of how to treat it. And it just takes time to heal, and that's the issue with that. Otherwise, if you rush it too quickly, you re-injure it, you could tear stuff and make it worse.
Right.
So, he's on pace to be ready when he's ready, and when he's prepared, he's going to be in the big leagues, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do with the outfield.
What about your guy Brady House? Grant, I didn't quite realize this. That with his bomb yesterday, he's now like on a 32 homer pace at AAA. Is the timeline accelerating with him? Is that somebody that we could look forward to seeing? Maybe later this season. What's the deal?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him for sure. So he's a really good player. Let's not forget, he's younger than about 80% of the players that will be drafted in this year's draft. Still.
Wow!
So he's a very young player.
How old is he?
He's 21. Okay. Yeah, he's 21 in AAA, and he's a very young player. I think he'll be 22 in another month or so. So he's in the right spot for his development where we want him to be. He's improved. His walk rate has come up a bit, which was a point of emphasis. His strikeout rate has come down a tick, which is kind of what we've been wanting him to do. And he's getting more at third base since after we drafted him to third a couple of years ago. He's doing everything he needs to get to the big leagues, and barring injury, he's going to get to the big. A great player for us, and a big part of what we're trying to achieve here.